Now, I would like to start off this speech with a question. How can a cell, so minuscule in its design, change our world, our life as we know it? I'd like each and every one of you to think about this as we go on. Now, what I'll be starting off with is an explanation of what the Sustainable Development Goals are. Now, the Sustainable Development Goals were started off with its predecessor, the Millennium Development Goals. Now, the Millennium Development Goals were started as a way to prevent poverty from spreading any further than it already has. Now, they couldn't reach the goal that they set by 2015, so they set a new set of goals until 2030, and that is what we call the Sustainable Development Goals of today. Now, what goal I have in mind as the most important is goal number 3, good health and well-being. Because if you think about it, who is there to feed if they all die from diseases? Who is there to keep healthy, to keep alive, when they just catch another disease right off the bat that we don't have a cure for? I believe this is why the UN decided that goal 3 will be one of their goals for the end of 2030. Now, goal 3 is usually focused on maternal disease, the vertical transmission of HIVs. But I want to go deeper. I want to go deeper into the disease itself, HIV, and the cause it has. Now, disease is a word that haunts us. It lingers with the miasma of death. It's been haunting us for the past few decades. And it's always been something that when a medical practitioner informs you of it, he also hands you a pamphlet with burial sites. Now, I want this to change. I want a world without disease, without sickness, without untimely deaths happening in the world. Now, HIV, as I said, is one of the most dangerous of the diseases of today. It allows the body to become unimmune to the things that it was immune to before. It's like a stronghold without its soldiers. You can go straight in, take the gold, go out, leave the castle to crumble. Now, HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. It means it attacks the immune system. The immune system are those soldiers. They kill them all. What would we do without any soldiers in our castle? Now, about half of the adolescents with HIV are in just 6 countries. Out of the countless we have, only 6 countries have over half of the population with HIVs. Now, the one with the most HIVs is sub-Saharan Africa. And the graphs contained in this presentation will show the sub-Saharan African statistics. Now, in 2000, this is the world map at 2000. The red indicates a higher concentration of HIV. The blue, less. And light blue, less than 5%. This was 2000. You can see that there is almost a 5-to-5 ratio of blue and red. Now, I want to focus on what happened 14 years later in the year 2014. This is the year 2014. Notice the significant difference in colors. There is a lot more blue than there is red. And a lot more of the blue is light blue. That means most of the world now is less than 5% HIV. And I would like to state that we are 2 years after this. So imagine how much more we've progressed. And by 2030, I think it's pretty possible that HIV might no longer be a threat. Now, I've mentioned scientific advancements in order to lead up to HIV cures. Now, one example of a scientific advancement today is gene therapy. Now, gene therapy is like changing gears on a machine. You take healthy genes, take out the unhealthy ones, replace them with the healthy ones that you just made. This can allow us to replenish the genes that we were either born with or were mutated through some unknown cause. Now, we can extend upon this further with stem cells. Recently, people have started to experiment with stem cells in a way where we can nudge the stem cells into becoming any type of cell we want, therefore being able to replace any gene we want. This would advance our technology for a while, a long time. It would make us almost like machines, sort of, which is kind of very scary. Now, as we get back onto the topic of HIV, I would like to show you what science has made possible. Now, the reason why I named this slide Fire versus Fire is because a professor by the name of Carl H. June has provided a way to use mutated HIV cells and mutate them to actually change our T cells, our killer cells, cells programmed to kill certain cells in our body that would be harmful, and make them produce a protein called the chimeric antigen receptor. Now, these proteins will help these new T cells detect and kill cells of a certain disease that we all know today, called leukemia. Now, leukemia is caused by unhealthy white cells or mutated white blood cells to be produced in the bone marrow. Now, this causes very harmful effects and could be deathly. And many children have died because of it. But because of Carl H. June, Dr. Carl H. June, we have provided a way that could be very useful in this aspect. However, like always, it isn't perfect. There are risks. A few of the patients who have received this treatment had their leukemia return. However, in the next few years, if we can perfect this theory, if we can perfect it to the point where there are no downsides, this is revolutionary. HIV could no longer be in our dictionary in the next 10 years. Now, I would like to show a video, and it's about the research of Carl H. June and a certain little girl who was saved through it.
Take one. Is it hard for you to say those words? We're trying to cure cancer.
That's a really good question, and why it's hard to say we want to cure cancer. We do. And I think sometimes it's hard actually to think that you might actually succeed.
Patients that we're treating on this clinical trial have absolutely no other options left for them. These are patients who are unfortunately destined to die of their disease, and in a fairly short amount of time.
Emily Whitehead, 554.
So Emma is incredibly matter of fact about all of this stuff. This was a child who had had her leukemia come back twice. The parents were looking for a miracle.
What we've learned how to do is train the immune system to recognize and then kill tumor cells.
It's a procedure where we collect their T cells, and they are infected with a virus that will genetically change them so that they will now see and react against their leukemia cells.
And we actually use the HIV virus to do that.
So you're taking the HIV virus and infecting healthy cells with it to help kill cancer?
Yes. The virus has been engineered so that it can't cause disease anymore. But it still retains the ability to reprogram the immune system so that it will now attack cancer cells. We call those modified immune cells serial killer cells. Each infused cell can kill more than 1,000 different tumor cells.
But the reality is the dramatic responses of cancer to new treatments are very unusual. We need to make it clear when we talk to a family that it may not work. Emma was given her T-cell treatment, and within a few days, she was very sick. She had breathing difficulties, she had blood pressure difficulties. We knew that she could not have gotten any sicker without actually dying.
But then a remarkable thing happened. The T cells were growing, they were starting to fight the cancer.
Within hours, Emma's fever disappeared.
It was like the calm after the storm. The clouds went away, and she woke up, and there was no leukemia. When that child survived, it was, of course, an amazing event.
Now, death from disease is not a new concept. We've encountered it for, as I said, decades. We've finally advanced to a point where we can actually fight back. Now, I would like all of you, if you will, to imagine a world where disease does not exist within our dictionary. I would like everyone to try imagining a world where families don't have to drip tears over a family member's untimely death. I would like for all of you to imagine such a world where no pain needs to be felt unneededly. Now, our questions should differ as well. The questions we ask should not start with a can. It should start with a when. Thank you.